In an era when black women had few rights and even fewer opportunities, one woman broke the mold. Born just 2 years after slavery was abolished, she defied the odds, built an empire from scratch, and became America's first self-made female millionaire. Her name? Madam C. Walker. But this isn't just a rags-to-riches story. This is a tale of brilliance, resilience, and revolution. It's about hair, but also about power, pride, and legacy. Today, we dive deep into the incredible life of a woman who didn't just change the beauty industry. She helped reshape American history. Sarah Breedlove was born on December 23, 1867, on a cotton plantation near Delta, Louisiana. She was the first of her siblings to be born free, just 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation. Her parents, Owen and Minerva Breedlove, had been enslaved. Life after slavery was still brutally hard, especially for newly freed black families in the American South. By age 7, Sarah was orphaned. Both her parents died, and she moved in with her sister and brother-in-law, where she worked as a domestic servant. Her childhood was marked by hardship, abuse, and backbreaking labor in cotton fields. She married young at just 14 to escape abuse at home. She became a mother at 17, and by age 20 she was a widow, a single mother, barely literate, earning pennies as a laundress. On paper, Sarah Breedlove had every reason to remain trapped in poverty. But she didn't. In the late 1800s, living conditions for black women were tough. Poor diets, limited healthcare, and stress took a toll, especially on hair and skin. Sarah, like many black women of the time, began losing her hair. It was more than vanity. Hair loss affected dignity and confidence, especially in a society that already devalued black beauty. She started experimenting with home remedies, natural oils, and store-bought products. One of the products that helped her was from Annie Turnbow Malone, another early black beauty entrepreneur. Sarah began working as a sales agent for Malone, but soon she had ideas of her own. She started formulating her own hair treatment, one she believed worked better, and one she would go on to market as Madam C. Walker's wonderful hair grower. Around this time, she reinvented herself. She married Charles Joseph Walker, a newspaper advertising salesman, and took on the more refined moniker, Madam C. Walker, a name that would soon be known in households across America. Madam Walker began selling her product door-to-door in St. Louis, Missouri, teaching women not just how to use the hair grower, but how to care for themselves. She wasn't just selling hair products. She was selling a transformation, a vision of black women as beautiful, confident, and economically independent. In 1906, she hit the road. Traveling from city to city, she trained women in what she called the Walker system, a regimen of scalp preparation, application of her products, and heat styling. With her daughter Alelia Walker managing things back home, Madam Walker was on a mission. And it worked. Black women flocked to her lectures, sales soared, and the seeds of her empire were planted. In 1910, she moved her business headquarters to Indianapolis, where she built a factory, a hair salon, and a training school. The Madam C. Walker Manufacturing Company was now a full-fledged operation. She employed thousands of black women, training them as sales agents and beauty culturists. These weren't just jobs, they were careers. She turned maids and laundresses into entrepreneurs. Madam Walker didn't just create wealth for herself. She created a path for economic independence for black women, at a time when few doors were open. Her agents, known as Walker agents, were a national sisterhood. They were respected, self-reliant, and upwardly mobile. Many bought homes, sent children to college, and reinvested in their communities. Madam Walker emphasized the importance of self-respect, discipline, and dignity. She was clear. This wasn't just about hair, it was about empowerment. In 1917, she hosted the first national convention of Walker agents in Philadelphia. Hundreds attended. There were business awards, lectures, and discussions on philanthropy and politics. It was, in many ways, the first national business convention for women of color. By 1918, Madam C. Walker was one of the richest women in America. She built a lavish mansion in Irvington, New York called Villa Luro, designed by the first licensed black architect in the U. Vertner Woodson Tandy. It overlooked the Hudson River and stood as a bold symbol of black excellence. But unlike many of the wealthy elite, Madam Walker didn't hoard her fortune. She gave back generously. She donated thousands to historically black colleges and universities like Tuskegee Institute, supported orphanages, and funded scholarships. She was a major patron of the NAACP, contributing to anti-lynching campaigns. In 1919, she pledged $5,000 to their efforts, a staggering sum at the time. Walker once said, "I want to live to help my race." And she did through action, not just words. Sadly, Madam Walker's empire outlived her. She died in 1919 at the age of just 51, due to complications from hypertension. But her legacy, it only grew. By the time of her death, she had employed over 20,000 women. Her daughter A'Lelia Walker carried on her legacy, becoming a major figure in the Harlem Renaissance, hosting luminaries like Langston Hughes and Zora Neale Hurston at her legendary parties. Villa Luro later became a hub for black intellectuals and artists. Madam Walker's vision had come full circle, from washboards to mansions, from hair grease to history books. Today, Madam C. Walker is celebrated as a trailblazer, a titan of industry, and a cultural icon. In 2020, Netflix released a mini-series called Self-Made, starring Octavia Spencer as Walker. Though fictionalized, it brought her story to a new generation. Her products, ethos, and spirit live on. The Madam C. Walker brand was revived and modernized, sold in stores like Sephora. Her name is taught in schools, honored in museums, and immortalized on stamps. But her true impact? It's seen in the millions of black women who now own businesses, run empires, and define beauty on their own terms. Madam C. Walker once said, "I got my start by giving myself a start." She took a small idea, born out of struggle, and turned it into a force of change. She lifted herself up and took thousands with her. In the story of American entrepreneurship, she's not a footnote, she's a blueprint. So next time you see a beauty brand, a black-owned business, or a woman defying the odds, think of Madam Walker, because long before hashtags and venture capital, there was a woman with a dream, a tin of hair grower, and a plan to change the world, one scalp at a time. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more inspiring stories.